Good morning, stylist from the back room. What is going on? John, good morning, my friend. Here we go with another fun-filled week. We've got the quiz. We are discussing, I always forget what we're discussing. I forgot what we're discussing and I forgot what we're reviewing. But man, am I glad you are here with me this week because the motivation I got for you is all about you, my friend. It's all
Oh,
about you.
that's fantastic. There's no there's nothing motivational about me whatsoever. And also I don't care how your week went. There, I'm switching things up this week.
Whoa, that's awesome.
We've got the beauty quiz. Um we are talking about the oh my gosh. All right, that's it. We're done. Let's just start up. Can we start
Even
over?
better. So here's the most important announcement that we need to make real quick.
Uh-huh.
October 7th in Downers Grove at the Doubletree Hotel. We are
Uh-huh.
going to be going to host an event called the
Mm-hmm.
Definitive Hair Loss Forum. So
Mm-hmm.
any licensed cosmetologist, any hairdresser or hairstylist, if you are suffering with hair loss or shedding, or if you have a client who is freaking out in your chair, who is suffering with hair loss or with shedding, and if you don't have the answers for them and you need to know, you need to sign up for this event. That's what this day is all about. We are going to have a biochemist who's also the founder and the creator of a product line called Xenogen. It is all around helping to regrow and curb that shedding, okay, and to strengthen that hair that's been weakened from excessive shedding and loss. Go to htbbeauty.com, get to the classes page, and register for the October 7th program. It's a full day, 9 to 5. You're going to get 7 hours of CE continuing education hours, and we're going to feed you lunch as well too. All right. So that's the most important announcement that we have to make. So hopefully that bought you some time to figure out what we're doing with the rest of this hour. Otherwise,
Can I add to that?
you're on your own.
Can I add to that announcement?
Yeah, go for it.
If you don't have access to the interweb or the internet or go to HTB Beauty, you can call the office 847-741-5000.
Okay.
And they will take care of you there. And also there's gonna be some Xenogen promotional deals at this event too, correct?
Let's say it the right way. The
Okay.
promotional deals or the promotional things that we're going to have at that event are going to be centered around the solutions in having to do with shedding and loss.
Right.
And they're going to be customizable packages for the stylists that are attending. This is
Perfect.
not a sales bazaar extravaganza
No.
because you're there and we want to sell you stuff.
Right.
So if you want to put in a regular order for product, call the office. That is not what the 7th is about.
Right.
The 7th is about coming up with solutions, answers, and plans on why it's happening, the science behind why it's happening, and the hairdressing side of how to deal with it with styling tips, styling techniques, and styling tech sheets that you can take back with you so you could reference it back again on how to deal with hair cutting, blow
Right.
drying, styling, treatments, hair extensions, whatever services that you need to offer to your client to get them through that time. That's what that's about.
Right. Okay. All right. Cool.
It's only when it comes to topics like that you'll get 30 seconds of seriousness out of me. I feel it in my voice, like my whole demeanor. I could feel it in myself. I become very somber and I get very, very serious because it really is helping somebody.
That's not different from any other day.
Because I like helping people. Okay, you know what? You're welcome that I like to help people.
You're Mr. Helpful.
I
Mr. Helpful. Look at that. We found two things out about Eddie this week. First off, we found out that he is Pinocchio, the little wooden boy. And now we know Eddie's Pinocchio that's helpful. So
because I'm like a George Washington Pinocchio. I don't lie. That's why my nose ain't
that's
so
right.
big.
That's right. And you cannot lie, you did cut down that cherry tree. So I got a quiz for you this week.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Nope.
Okay. Put on your thinking hat and put your serious hat away. So, here's your first question for this week, my friend. The new hair trend that is glossy and reflective is called A, star hair, B, glass hair, C, ocean hair, or D, car finish hair.
Please be car finish hair, but I'm going to go with star because glass hair was last season.
It's
And
actually
there's no way ocean is shiny.
Yeah. Actually, it's rolled over into this year. This trend is still very hot. It is called glass hair.
They're repeating it.
They're
Nice.
repeating it. They're repeating it. It's shiny, reflective, like glass.
How awesome would that have been if turtle wax? We had turtle.
Oh, I should have done turtle wax hair as a choice. God darn it. Turtle wax hair. McGuire's hair. What they're doing is because when people think of glass, right, they think of shiny, reflective, but also fragile. So that's the caveat that they're throwing into this, that it's also well-conditioned hair and strong hair too. So yeah, glass hair is glossy and reflective. So there you go, guys. Here's another one. True, false. Men grow hair faster than women.
False.
True.
Oh, no, wait. True because of testosterone?
Yep. True because of testosterone. Yes, sir.
At first I said false because I'm like, why would that matter? It's genetics. But then I'm like, no, wait a minute. It's hormones. It's not genetics. And testosterone builds energy. Estrogen suppresses energy.
I'm not touching that comment.
No, the buildup, the DHT sucker. I know what am I talking about. I'm talking about hair. I'm talking about your crazy butt politics.
Oh, by politics. Okay. All right.
Geppetto.
Yeah. Excuse me, guys. All right. Here's another true false question for you.
These are tricky.
All your hair follicles are formed when you are 5 months old in the womb.
Wow. Just from the way the question is phrased, I'm going to go with true because that sounds so oddly specific.
It is very oddly specific, and yes, it is true. All your hair follicles are formed when a baby is 5 months old in the womb.
Is that when they also figure out the sex of the baby? Is that when you start doing ultrasound? I don't know anything about.
No, ultrasounds are really pretty early on, but no, yeah, I think so. You know what? 4 kids, and I don't remember this. All I remember
5 months.
Yeah.
Into the pregnancy.
Yes.
That's why they come out with a. So then it's so interesting, right? Because kids are born with a full head of hair.
Yeah.
And then they lose it all.
Yeah. My oldest daughter
grows back again. You know?
My oldest daughter was born with hair your color.
Wow. She
looked like a little Eskimo baby, and then it all shed out, and now she's dishwater blonde. Okay. So yeah, kind of cool, huh?
It is such an oddly specific question. I had to say true.
Well, here's a fun one.
I don't feel good. I like this week's quiz, but I still don't feel like I've gotten any answers correct. I've been guessing all my answers.
Yeah, you got the first one right.
The turtle wax? No, I failed that one.
Well, you said glass hair was last year.
It was last year, but that's cool that it's fast forwarding. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It takes roughly blank years to grow your hair to your waist. Ready?
Blank years to
how
grow
many,
your hair
how
to
many
your
years does it
waist?
take for you to grow your hair to your waist?
How tall are you?
Here's your choices.
What is the wait, are you closer to the equator? Is the gravitational pull closer to the poles or to the equator?
You really are working on getting punched.
Is the moon aligned with the sun during this growth?
Listen, Pinocchio, I'm going to take
Is
a
this during a full
blowtorch to you.
moon or a harvest moon or a blood
Are
moon
you
or
done?
a
Are you done? Are you done?
there's
You
a
have
blue
fun?
moon. Did you know there's a blue moon?
Yes.
Not the beer.
Yes, I know. I know. And then there's also a blood moon and a
I
hunter's
said
moon.
blood moon earlier. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So your choices are 7 years, 10 years, 4 years, or 20 years.
In my mind, I had 7 as an answer, but I wasn't sure where you were going with the question. So I'm going to stick with 7.
You are correct.
So 7 years, the interesting thing about 7 years, I'm going to goof this now. Help me. The 3 cycles of hair growth, the growing, the resting, and the shedding phase.
Anagen, catagen, and telogen.
And I always forget telogen. Anagen and catagen, and I always forget telogen. But the growing phase can last up to 7 years.
Yes, it can.
So that's the only time during those 3 phases that you would have the ability to grow your hair that long. Because once obviously it hits its resting phase, however long it got to is it. That's it. And then you got to wait for that to shed and fall out and restart all over again. Now the resting phase and the shedding phase are only like what 1 to 3 years for the resting phase and up to 5 years for shedding, I think.
What it is the statistic that I read on that is that about 80% of your hair is in the growing phase all the time.
All the time. Right. Yeah. So the shedding,
unless there's been trauma to your body or your hormones are imbalanced or something like that.
Then I'm wrong about the shed. The shedding goes very quick. Then it doesn't last so long. But the resting phase could take a few years, a number of years.
Right.
So yeah, basically every 10, 11 years, you loop back around through the cycle.
Yep.
And it kind of coincides with when your body naturally hits a puberty. We talk about.
Have the doctors told you when you're going to hit puberty?
I missed my teenager years. I forgot about the one in my 20s because I was drunk. I was too busy figuring everything out in my 30s, so I couldn't even figure that out. Forget about it. And now I'm just having hot flashes, so I guess I'm in the middle of one right now. I don't know.
No, you're going through menopause.
Yeah. Okay. Should I be?
Especially how emotional you've been lately.
I am very much, very, very much. So yeah, that's the whole thing. It's you literally go through it just kind of. Science is fun. When it's not dumb, it's fun.
So 7 years to grow your hair to your waist.
There was a whole bunch of additional facts that had nothing to do with your question whatsoever.
I know. You went off on you took a hard left turn. All right,
I love this quiz, man. It inspires. It's knowledge. It's a lot of knowledge. All right. Come on. What else you got? You got to have another
one. Your last one. What is the only living part of the hair? A, the ends, B, the mid shaft, or C, the hair in the follicle?
You got to come up with a better. I want you to, I want you to refresh your answers. Really? The split ends, the mid shaft, the cold shaft of the hair, or the follicle? Which one is the alive?
What is the living part of the hair?
Dude, come on, man. That's not even a trick question.
But you know what?
Who would choose the cold shaft? Why would you choose the cold shaft? Or, excuse me, the mid shaft? Why would you choose the mid shaft?
Do you know how many people think hair is dead?
Hair is dead as
Except,
it exits your skull.
but they think hair is just dead. So you to really
Help me understand. Help me
there's
understand.
method to this question because we
Well,
just
okay. The answer is your follicle, but I
Correct.
don't understand. It's a goofy question.
correct.
I don't like this question.
I don't care whether you like it or not.
It maddens me. Why would there be any justification to having the split ends or the mid shaft as an answer?
Gee, I lay awake at night wondering, going, God, I hope Eddie likes his question. Oh, oh. Gee, I toss and turn, going, I hope he likes it.
Is that all you think about?
It's a no. I think about running you over with my car a lot of the time. But then I got to pay the insurance deductible.
It's way more of a priority, man, because these insurance rates are out of control.
And then my insurance rates will go up. So yeah, so I can't even run you over.
Not even worth getting run over. That's how expensive insurance has gotten. I'm not even worth. Lord.
All right, I think our numbers are dropping with this line of questioning. So,
well, look, man, because you're special, okay? You got to look. I produce amazing things. You just worry too much, and that's why you don't move forward.
I'm the organizational part of your world, Mr. Man.
You are very much the organizational part of my world. It allows me to be creative and really do things. That's the magic of it all.
If anybody ever watched the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, at the end with Leatherface with the running chainsaw just spinning off into the distance, that's Eddie.
You know what, though? I did something productive and you remembered it. And that's all that matters. That's all. Okay, here. I got one for you.
Let's go.
That's right. All our craziness aside, we're always producing something.
Right.
And if we're producing something, that means we are accomplishing something.
Right.
So if we're accomplishing something, then we are remembered about something.
Right. Yes.
So then why is it the people who complain the most tend to be the ones that don't produce anything? They just got too much time in their hands.
I get what you're saying. And I'm going to give you, because I have sayings for everything. And the woman that trained me,
I am totally taking you sideways.
Yes, you did. But so the woman that trained me 30 plus years ago, who basically just beat me on a daily basis, she used to tell me one of her favorite sayings was, do ordinary work, get paid ordinarily.
Do ordinary work, get paid ordinarily.
And you get ordinary pay. Do exceptional work, you get exceptional pay, right?
Okay.
So my question to everybody watching is, what are you doing behind the chair that sets you apart and makes you extraordinary? Is it your customer service? Is it your techniques? Is it your personality? What sets you apart from the rest of the sheep, for lack of a better term? Sheep's bad, and I apologize, but for the rest of the pack, what sets you apart from the rest of the pack? What puts you head and shoulders above the best? So I'll pose that to you. What do you do that's different from the person that's on either side of you in the shop?
I'm going to stick with my original response to all of this insanity of what brought us here. I consistently produce behind the chair.
Right.
but consistently.
Consistently.
Consistency.
Consistency is the key. But what if you were just doing consistently ordinary work?
My thing is, I don't know how to answer you.
So I'll answer it for you.
Because I only have one thought that comes to my mind, and it was an advice that my buddy's father gave me a long time ago, and that's the only thing I can think of right now.
Throw it out there, and then I'll tell you my point on this.
He said, if you do ordinary, like level, right? If you just do average, okay, that's the good word. If you just do average, then you will stay average, you will be average. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but that does not give you that does not allow you to look at somebody who's doing less than average and poo on them. And that doesn't give you the entitlement to look at anybody that's doing above average and try to tear them down to your level to hold them back from doing what they're doing either. If it's really bothering you that somebody's doing better than you, then do better. Don't be average, be better. And if you're so jealous of somebody that's you deem so much lazier than you, either pull them up to your level, get them out of there, or drop down a tier and hang out with them. Either way, make up your mind, stay in your lane, decide what you want to do, and mind your business. Shut up, leave me alone. And he walked back inside. And I'm like, wow, this was great. This is the best getting yelled at I've ever been yelled at, you know. But that life lesson was given to me back in 96, just to put it in perspective for you. Okay. That's when that advice was given to me. So whatever the math is on that, 28 years ago. And it's still sound advice.
Yeah, it is. It is. So here's where I'm at with that. And I'm going to answer for you because
okay, help me. Yeah, because that's the only way I can think about what you're saying.
I've worked next to you. You don't do anything average. I've watched you work. I've worked with you. And that's why we vibe so well, is because neither one of us do anything average, because we've went out, we've gotten, I mean, if we had badges, it would say overeducated. Okay.
like those scout banners with all the patches. Yeah. We would just be a walking bundle of patches.
I mean, we've gone out. I mean, we've spent the money to get educated. We've sat in classes together where, yeah, we were bored 80% of the time, but 20% of it, we actually pulled.
We got kicked out because I couldn't help myself.
Yeah. Well, that, and and I had to walk you out because I pull your strings. But that's what it is. And so, to anybody watching, if you want to get in the chat, I'm going to ask again. What do you do that's not average? Consistency is the key, 100%. Consistency is the key, but you've got to step your game up if you want to. Basically, if you want to get paid more, if you want to do more, you've got to step up. You can't just be complacent and be satisfied with the status quo. I used to work. I've worked with people. They had blinders on. Okay, their day was from here to here, and it was churn and burn, grind those clients out, and for a couple of years, that's doable. That's totally doable. But then eventually, clients pick up on the fact that you are just going through the motions, and you're not wowing them. And where's the wow factor? I hate that term, but that's the only one I got that's coming to mind right now. Is when a client's like, well, I'm gonna back up a minute. When you and I were talking, I forget if it was last week or the week before, about managing client expectations.
Yeah. Okay.
And you said you get clients referred to you, and they sit in your chair, and they've been told by Susie Q that Eddie is freaking amazing, and Eddie's this, Eddie's that, and all of us have it. Every single one of us, everybody watching, all of us, everybody has it. where you're referred and you've got to at least meet those expectations. True or false?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So with that being said, it just can't be, all right, what are we doing today? Okay, yeah, we're just going to slap some color on your head and send you out the door, right? You don't.
No, what you should be doing is, come on, hurry up, sit down. I've already got your color mix. It's been sitting here. You're 5 minutes late, and my next one's on her way. Come on. I don't have time. Come on. Go to the bathroom while you're processing. I don't have time for you to go to the bathroom right now. Cross your legs. Can't even have an ordinary conversation with you. See?
Look. I hate. I'm gonna talk out of school. I worked with someone who would mix their first 4 clients' formulas up.
First 4.
They would be mixed. This person did bottle application, right? So this 4 bottles, and this person would put the bottles on top of the formula cards, because this is back when we used to work off the index cards, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and it would just be, okay, sit down, boom, because back then we were booking single processes every 15 minutes, and
wait a minute. You mean he had like the color and the developer out ready to be mixed for the first 4?
Mixed in the bottle.
Like already processing, oxidizing?
Already shaken up.
Because he booked on the 15 minutes.
Let's not say he or she. We don't want to.
I said they mixed on the 15 minutes.
Yeah. It was already mixed up. First hour is mixed up, and then what this person would do is then, as he would knock one down, he would mix another one up. So, and then all of a sudden there came this issue of, well, this color sucks. It doesn't cover anymore. Well, yeah, because you just made deposit only color.
That's awesome.
Because think about it. By the time they got to that fourth.
It's been an hour. It's been 45 minutes.
Right. It's just basically semi-permanent color. So hey, we just got to talk about but my point being is see,
that's extraordinary. That can't be average. That's got to be extraordinary in itself.
That's below average. You're not covering gray anymore. You're just slapping color on people's heads. How is that? How is that extraordinary? What is in that water bottle? What are you drinking? Let me see. What are you drinking? Are you flipping kidding me? We provide a personal service. We are not factory workers. And he's dying. Yes.
I'm going to mute myself out for a second. Hold on.
This is amazing. Thank you. Point being, and I went off. I went off on a rampage there for a minute. But point being is that we've got to be extraordinary for each and every client, whether it's a client that's been with us for 30 years or a brand new flipping client, because that's how we build our books, build our tickets, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I learned from you about 3 different formulas for a client: their spring, summer formula, their fall formula, and their winter formula. And what a boon that has been. And I learned that from you 18 years ago. I'd never even thought that way, and really personalizing the service. That's being extraordinary. That's not being ordinary.
I got you.
So I don't even have a segue for our next segment because you're choking and almost dying. I'm so excited. I do have a question though.
Yes.
Because being more colorist and hair cutter than true stylist. I am a stylist. I hold my own with the round brush in my hand. But watching you, and especially with ergo brushes, you've got ergo brushes on lock. I still, if I had my way, I'd still be using a Denman brush on everybody. But for you with the ergo brushes, I kind of I struggled with a client. She's great and I love her, and we have a great relationship, but we cut her into a lob. Okay. And
Okay.
I really struggled with, believe it or not, guys, my brain and this lob and then the round brushing of it just I didn't connect with it. I really didn't. So walk me through it with how would you have styled, and let me tell you about the hair, because you got to know about the hair. So she has finer hair. She has a bunch of it, but it's fine. It's not coarse. It's not even medium texture. It's fine hair, but she's got 5 tons of it. So walk me through how you would approach styling that.
So even though it's fine hair, but she has a lot of it, what is the porosity? Is it strong? Is it weak?
It's strong. It's strong. She gets highlighted every 3 months. We do summer high. She wants that summer look year round. So the underneath is still all natural, and it's just basically face framing and crown.
Can we play a game?
Sure.
Can I try to guide you to the answer rather than telling you the answer?
But what about everybody else?
This is exactly, because this is what I'm thinking about. You've just inspired me. I just squirrel moment.
Okay, go for it.
If I talk you through it, and then somebody listening, they can apply your responses to their own personal responses, right?
Okay.
And then this will be universal information for anybody watching.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go. You got 15 minutes.
Oh, then just use a regular round. The
and the blow dryer set on flame.
on flame, right? Curling iron to 10, flat iron to 5,000 degrees. Stick your head in the microwave. All right. So in your example that you're building for your client, Susie Q here. So she's got thin, fine hair, but she's got a lot of it. It's healthy for the most part, as healthy as it can be. It's highlighted. Right. Okay, fine. On average, not any kind of specific bend, but will it hold a bend? Like, some people's hair is just stick straight, and it doesn't matter what the hell you do to it, it will not curl.
That's her hair. That is her hair. I could not get a bend in it.
Because when you say, okay, so I hear this a lot, right? What does that mean? Like, you can't get a bend in it to stay bended, or you just cannot bend it at all?
Okay, so I did the back quadrants, right? By the time I finished, I started with the left one. By the time I finished with the right one, the left one had fallen.
Before it fell, it kind of looked like something, though?
It looked just what I wanted to do, and she
okay.
And I had styling cream in her hair and a little bit of mousse.
Okay. How long is this person's hair?
I'm gonna go right past the shoulders. I cut it to just past the shoulders, maybe just about an inch. Maybe about an inch past the shoulder blade.
Okay. Now, with a long bob style, your option is to get nice volume at the top, have it be smooth through the mid shaft, and then at the ends, either tuck it in or tuck it out. Or you don't have the nice volume. You have it kind of flat and sleek and smooth, sleek and smooth, and then just either bone straight. But no, in your example, you're wanting tucked in or you're wanting tucked out?
Yeah, we wanted that framing on the lock.
You want that framing, right?
Yeah.
Do you want the volume at the top too?
She wants a little bit of volume. She doesn't like it flat plastered to her head.
I'm going to make a educated guess, why did you decide, walk me through your thought process. Why did you decide to only use one size round brush? Did you, first of all, and am I correct in guessing you've only used one size round brush?
No, because I used a smaller brush for the nape and up to the occipital, and then I went with a larger brush up top.
Through the entire length of her hair.
Right.
There is this thing where when you're using a round brush, you have to discover what is the correct size of round brush to achieve the volume that you want. A lot of stylists have their one or two go-to sizes that they prefer, and then they try to force everybody's style within those one or two sizes.
Right.
Okay. And it's the same thing with the clients at home. They see the stylist using a particular size of round brush, or they have a girlfriend or their mother or somebody at some point in their life recommended to them one particular size, and that's the brush that they've been using. It's the only brush they got. You know, we do a lot of these BYOB, bring your own blow dryer parties, and you'd be surprised how many stylist clients come in and they only have one round brush.
And how many pounds of hair wrapped around it?
It's too many. So when you take the length of the hair and from the ends, you put it down on the brush, and as you wrap it around, as you're rolling the brush up, as you wrap that hair around, you should get one full rotation and then one more half. So you should get a total of 1.5 rotations.
Right. That's why I used a smaller brush through this section, because you got to get that rotation.
That hair is shorter at the bottom.
Yeah, and for tension too.
And for proper tension. Now, another thing that ends up happening is, and it's not so easy for people to do it at home. It's just easy for people at home to put their brush in, hit it with the blow dryer, and then just kind of pull it out. Okay.
Yeah.
Because this gets tiring to hold that brush up there like this for an extended period of time, especially with a blow dryer too. It's fatigue. It gets tiring. Even for us working on somebody sitting there with the blow dryer and the brush in your hand, even that gets fatigued too. So with the ergo brushes in particular, one of the nice things about it is it's very balanced out and it's very weighted and it's ergonomically correct. So it doesn't put a lot of tension in your wrist.
Right.
So when you are holding that brush up against the scalp for an extended period of time, you don't lose that. You don't build up that fatigue so quickly, or if you really got your body positioned properly, you don't get any fatigue at all, which is a godsend. Let me tell you, you must get that tension. You must run the brush through the ends, get it wrapped up, that 1.5 rotations, and get it locked into the scalp. And it's got to sit there. You got to warm that up. So either medium heat. For fine, thin hair, I'd say low to medium heat, but you're saying she's got a lot of hair. So depending on the density of the section, the thickness of the section that you're taking, okay, maybe since you're a stylist, medium to high heat, if you know what you're doing, if you're focusing and you're paying attention.
So along those lines, just to start, bookmark that. Do you preheat the barrel of your
every time?
Yeah,
every time. You got to treat the round brush like a roller.
Yep.
Even if you hate doing rollers, even if you never really learned how to do rollers, you got to go back. That is the foundation to all volume, on base, off base, even perms. Okay. Whether you hated them or you love them, it doesn't matter. The foundational education that you get from learning how to do a roller set and or a perm is your whole success to a proper blow dry.
Right.
Especially with these lobs that are trending right now, with these long bob styles that are trending right now. So you gotta lock it in. You gotta hold that heat up there, because in essence, that's what you're doing. If you preheat the barrel, when you take that section, all the hair underneath that section is making direct contact to the barrel. So if you have preheated that, that's going to get heated up evenly. Then you got the blow dryer on top of the section. So now you're heating it from both underside and over and on top. You're heating that up. After you heat it up, before you start releasing and pulling it through the midshaft, You got to let it cool down for a moment. I've even seen some stylists that they have 3 or 4 of the same size barrel. They'll roll a brush up, they'll lock it in, leave it there, roll up another brush, lock it in, leave it there, roll up another brush, lock it in, leave it there. Then they'll go back to their first one. What's happening is that barrel, that brush is cooling down.
Yep.
And as it's cooling down, the hair is starting to cool down and it's starting to lock in that shape. When the cuticle heats up and when hair heats up, it becomes very pliable. And it almost becomes like putty or like Play-Doh. You can reshape it and it's fun.
Right.
You know?
Well, what it is you're breaking down the salt bonds in the hair and then they reform.
They reform as they cool down, they reharden and they reform around whatever shape, in this case rounded. No. Which is why it's really important, because the smaller the brush you take, the less volume you're going to get. But if you take too big of a brush, you're also going to get less volume. You're just going to get more smoothness.
Right.
So that 1.5 rotation around where you start from the ends rolling up to the scalp, is the correct size to maximize volume if you're going on base or even slightly off base, half base, right? So, okay, you warm up the scalp area, you let that cool down for a moment. Then when you pull it through the mid shaft, you're just making sure that the moisture is out. Unless the hair is super wavy or curly, it should have pretty much for the most part straightened out and smoothened itself out if you've locked it in correctly at the scalp. So at the mid shaft, you're just ensuring that you got yourself nice and smooth. You don't want to sit there and start pulling and pulling and pulling, because then you're pulling down all your volume.
Right.
Even if you see it's kind of big after you've released, who cares? Leave the big volume there. Oh, but my client, you were saying the client doesn't want too much volume, but she doesn't want it plastered either. That will relax.
Yeah.
Let gravity and natural fall do its work.
Okay.
Pull it through the mid shaft. Just make sure the mid shaft is smoothened out and it's dry. There's no dampness in there. When you get to the ends, you're going to mimic the same action like you did at the scalp. When you get to the ends, make sure you don't fully release it. Make sure it's still, because it's wrapped up in there, right?
Right.
Make sure that it's still wrapped up in there. Heat it up some more. Let it cool down a second time. And here's the key. When the ends cool down, when you take away the blow dryer, leave the brush in there for a couple of extra seconds. As you start to roll, don't just pull the brush out. Roll the brush out through the ends. Get your pinky in there, or get your hand in there, and support the section of the hair that you're blow drying, that you're about to release out of the brush. Actually baby it, cradle it, hold on to it, and lay it down gently. Put it down nicely. Don't just pull the brush and let the hair collapse. Okay. Don't just roll the brush out and try to tuck the brush. I've seen a stylist literally roll the brush underneath the client's chin because they're trying to force that direction to tuck, and all you're doing is just exfoliating the skin at that point, because you're tearing her face off, quite literally. So don't do like that either. Literally cradle, gently hold it and drop it down.
Okay.
Don't finger through, man. You know what? So many stylists, they do that. They get it down and it's nice. And they got that beautiful C shape curve going on. And then they start running their fingers through it. And they're trying to break it up. And they're trying to finger it out. And there was one little flyaway and I'm a perfectionist. The hell with perfection, man. Just leave the little static there. Who cares? Leave the little flyaway. Who cares? Don't worry about breaking up the style right now. Wait till the end when you're done. That's when you take a little bit of pomade, or even if you don't, that's when you take a little hairspray or whatever. The finish, let the finish be the finish. You are building the style right now. Okay? I kind of hijacked. I was going to ask you questions and let you get to the answer. Then I got excited.
Too late.
My little experiment didn't work.
You get an F.
Okay.
I do have a question.
Answer your question.
You did answer my question, and it makes perfect sense. And it's things that, how sometimes we do things and we know, but what we do are two different things. and and see, I tend to manhandle the hair too much. So what I'm doing is taking the oils from my hands and I'm transferring that right to the hair I'm doing, and then that's why things fall and things like that. Makes
That
perfect
adds
sense.
slip, that adds weight.
Yep.
And you're sabotaging yourself without realizing.
Yeah. So I have another question. Do you have the full set of Ergo brushes?
Not only do I have the full set of Ergo brushes at my station, I also have both full sets because Ergo has their classics, which is, oh man, 25, 33, 43, 53, 65. So they have 5 round brushes and 2 paddle brushes. But then they also have a gentle version of the same exact thing,
Of everything.
both
Yep.
the 2 paddles and the 5 brushes. So I have 10 round brushes and 4 paddle brushes at my station. I literally lay them out across my counter and I leave them there. And everybody in the salon, it's the best joke ever because everybody in the salon knows that I hate blow drying hair. I avoid styling hair every chance I get. And yet, the 2 things I leave out at my station all the time are my brushes and my extension colorings. And every single time I come into the salon to start my shift, brushes are missing and I got to go track them down at other people's stations. And my color rings for my extensions are missing and I got to go track them down at other people's stations. And it always instigates a conversation. And it's always and I purposely turn it into a fun consultation. Like oh, I'm so sorry. I took your brush. I didn't realize it was yours. I'm so sorry. Like, no, quite the opposite. How did that work for you? Why did you choose that particular size? You know, I get excited that they stole my brush. I get excited that they took my swatch ring. I turn it into a learning experience, a positive experience. I'm being extraordinary. You know, I'm doing above average stuff. And then
So the reason why I asked you that is because the next show we do, I know that I have to replenish some brushes, so I know where to go to get them.
I can only think of the Arnold. You son of a. Arnold one-liners are great
because things always fall out of your kitten. Things always fall out of your kitten right into mine. So, I just needed, So
I mean it. Yeah.
So you called me last night, and you hit me with a story about gratitude.
Yeah.
So I have to set this up right, guys. So Eddie calls me last night. It's about 8:45. Now, Eddie never, if I'm hearing from Eddie at 8:45, it's usually for bail money. Or he needs a place to sleep because Carmelina threw him out.
Never. Don't you take that back right now. Carmelina's an angel.
She is an angel. What she puts up with is amazing.
BS. I adore Carmelina. I would never push her that far.
Yes, you would.
You take that back right now.
Nope, not doing it.
I'll see you in 45 minutes because that's how long it's going to take me to get over to you, and I'm going to kick you in your kneecap.
Let's go. Let's go.
That is, you don't mess with Carmelina.
Anyway.
So she'll freaking take you out before I take you out. Who are you even talking about right now?
I'm tempting fate with this one. So, so anyway, so Eddie calls me. Eddie went through a drive-through last night for dinner, and he met a gentleman. And I'm just going to turn this over to you because it really hit me. It's really awesome, and I want you guys to hear this.
So the reason why you're bringing that up, that I don't usually call you at night, late at night, because I know you're tired. You don't.
I'm old. I go to sleep. I eat at 4:30 and I'm asleep by 8. Yeah.
But usually when I do call you late at night, it's always because some insane thing happened and I can't even contain myself anymore.
Right.
And that's really what it was last night. I was doing hair extensions at the salon. So Carmelina and I, speaking of Carmelina and I, we had this whole dinner thing, laid out. Like we were going to have dinner together last night. We're going to have a dinner date at the house. And we were all excited. We had this whole thing planned out. She ended up getting a late client at the salon by her. I was doing hair extensions last night on a bride to be, which congratulations to her. Next week is her wedding. So we were doing the final, hair extension adjustments that we need to do. And then her mother was there. So we were, she's going to style her hair. It was like a whole to do. So I ran late over there, which was fine because I knew Carmelina was running late. Dinner fell through. And she's like, you know what? Just you don't wait for me. Eat on your own. I'll eat on my own when I get home. And then we'll just see each other eventually when both of us make it home, right? So I figured Wendy's is on the way. I'll pull through. I'll get some fast food. I'll get a burger. I don't care. And I just pulled up and I said, whatever. Cheeseburger, the lemonade. I pull up to the first window, pull up to the first window on pay, right? I pull up. The guy at the window, his accent was so heavy. He was so foreign. I barely could make out what he was saying, but he was trying so hard to speak English and in the thickest accent, which I'm not even going to try to attempt because it was so hard. I don't even know where he was from. He's like, but he basically said, good evening, sir. How are you this fine evening? He said all of that in like the thickest thing. I had to make the guy repeat himself twice just to make out like what he was saying. And he was so positive and happy about it. I'm like, I don't know. I'm actually doing great this evening. I had fun at work. I just got done. How about you? Wonderful. I'm like, oh, hey, dude, you're so happy to take my payment? Like, what the hell's going on? So yeah, he goes, wonderful. Thank you. And he takes my, paying with my card. So he took my card. He's plugged it in, put it in to run the card. And he's staring at me with the biggest smile on his face. I'm like, freaking awkward. Okay. Are you starting your shift or are you ending your shift? And he had to translate it into whatever language. And he goes, today, my second day. It's great job. I have a job. I'm like, whoa, okay. No, dude. Like, congratulations, that's awesome. Good, work is good. He goes, work is wonderful. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, how many hours you have left? You little hours, a lot more hours tonight. Oh, 11 o'clock, and by then it was 9. So I'm like, oh, almost finished. He goes, yeah, almost finished. Then no more work, but tomorrow, work again tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, and all I can think about was Carmelina's grandma. She says this advice all the time. So I said it out loud to the dude. I said, no work, no eat. You work a lot, you eat a lot. He goes, yes. I'm so happy. America is great. Work. I get to work. I can work. I'm like, okay. He goes, I can eat. And the way he freaking with the conviction, I get to eat like tonight or however, I don't know what the hell. Thank you. And then he goes, he gave me my card back. He goes, thank you. Good night. I'm like, okay, good night. I pulled up to the next window to grab my stuff, right? I pull up to the next window. It's just some kid. There you go, sir. Just freaking basically almost threw the bag. Right. And I'm like, thanks, buddy. He's like, yeah. And he turned around and walked in to do whatever the hell, get the next car, I guess, because I probably have like a parade behind me now. I don't know. After that exchange, I'm driving away and I'm going, wow, man. Like, wow. So I called you because the guy was so appreciative. The guy was so appreciative to work. He was so appreciative to be in America. He was so appreciative to get to eat food. Like he was so appreciative to have to be productive, to be something, to do something. I'm like, man, this is freaking awesome, And then I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I got to do hair extensions on this girl who's getting married next week. She could have gone to anybody else. I've been working with her. Her hair's been fried for over a year and a half. And it's taken me a year and a half to recover her hair back to a something and right in time for her wedding day. Talk about down to the wire on the 13th hour. Right. She is so appreciative. She was hugging me. She invited me to the wedding. I'm like, what the hell? And then I'm thinking about it myself. I called you a couple nights ago asking you for advice, and you were able to give me some really good, solid, sound advice. I'm appreciative to you, because if you didn't give me that advice, I probably would have done something I shouldn't have done, which I ended up only halfway doing.
We cannot get into this.
But the point is, like, I started thinking about this past week, Carmelina's ma, she made the freaking, she always makes a banger of a dinner. But in particular, this particular week, we got like a special treat dinner that she made for us. It was awesome. It was delicious. Right? And I'm always appreciative of her making food for us. She spoils the crap out of me. Her father, her family, they all spoil the crap out of me. I tell them all the time. Sabrina at the salon, Darren, all the time. They spoil the crap out of me. And like a positive. I'm not saying I'm a spoiled brat.
Yes,
I'm saying it's so uncomfortable because I'm always saying to them, like, you're being too good to me. Like, what the hell's going on? But that guy was so appreciative last night. It really made me realize, like, yeah, man, this is cool. Like, this is freaking awesome.
Right.
What a life.
Yeah.
What a freaking life. And, I can understand his plight because you've known me for 20-something years now. How broke I was at one time. What trouble I've been in the past. Right. Some of the insanity that I've had to go through to get where I'm at now. And people are like, oh, aren't you so lucky? No, you insert bad word there.
Don't say it.
I work my butt off, man.
Yeah.
I really work my butt off. And I put in my hours. I put in my time. I made my mistakes. I suffered oh my God, did I suffer the consequences for my actions?
Yeah.
So I am always very appreciative of everything I accomplish and that I do. It's why I'm a ball of positivity. I am your North Star and your guiding light, sucker.
You are my emotional.
You're welcome.
You are my emotional support animal.
No, but that's what that was last night, man. No, look, you got me all high now. You got me all excited again. Just remember, dude, that guy was cool. That guy was super cool.
It
freaked me out. The interaction freaked me out at first. I didn't know where he was going with this and what the hell was going on. Like, isn't that so sad? My initial reaction was, you freaking weirdo. What the hell's wrong with you? Just pay. Let me pay. Let me get through the drive-through. No, man. No. Spending that extra minute and hearing him out, it really, I'm appreciative to him that he's appreciative about his life. Positivity, baby.
I think it's awesome. I think that the only thing to unpack from that whole interaction, at least for me, is that I think that we need to take a lesson from, well, let's call him Steve. We need to take a lesson.
I have no idea what his name was.
All of us need to take a lesson from Steve, because to be that upbeat and that excited about being able to live life, we take so much for granted, and that we really should, and especially in our realm, we should really, really be appreciative of the people that sit in our chairs and the people that we interact with, and I appreciate everyone watching right now and everybody that's going to watch down the line and leave comments or what have you. Because, once again, we are living a dream that you and I came up with right now. And we're so appreciative for everybody from
oh God, doing this podcast take us 10 years.
Right. But from everybody all the way up to Darren, who stands behind us, both our wives who kick us in the behinds when we need it, all the way, up to our favorite little guy, Darren. And I think that gratitude is something that all of us really need to practice more of. And
I'm telling you, it's addictive.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I'm all wired again. I was wired last night. I'm all wired again now too. Today's going to be a freaking good day. Let me tell you.
There we go.
It offsets some of the negativity that gets thrown at you. There's a lot of negativity that gets thrown at you day in, day out.
Right.
So getting wired like this on a positive high,
Yeah,
it really makes a difference, man. It changes your mindsets.
I agree. So that's all we've got for you guys this week. We invite you back next week, same time, and we'll have some more fun stuff for you. Have a great week, and we will see you guys next week.
Thanks for watching.
The SFTB podcast was not recorded in front of a live studio audience, so thanks for joining us for today's episode. If our hair topics made you smile, give us a thumbs up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll read them while waiting for our caller to process. Share this video with your stylists and friends. It helps us make a difference, one strand at a time. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Because your hair deserves all the latest and greatest tips.